Hey everybody, Bobby Klink from Your Online Genius here again with today's lesson, which again, we're talking about social media issues this week. This week's lesson is going to be all about music issues and issues we need to be thinking about in terms of legal issues that come up with using music in social media. Before we talk about that, again, quick recap. I'm an intellectual property lawyer. That's what I do for a living. The business, Your Online Genius, is intended to help online entrepreneurs to take care of themselves and protect their platforms without having to spend tens of thousands of dollars to hire a lawyer like me one-on-one. So that's what the business is about. It was kind of born out of my experience of seeing companies make mistakes that were having real problems and creating real problems for them. So that's what we're intended to do. That's the idea behind the business. And that's why I'm providing all of this content out there for free for everyone to really understand what we can and what we can do and what you need to be doing to protect yourself. So again, this is theme week. Again, we're on social media. This week is about music. The issue on music is that music is covered by copyright law, and it's covered by multiple layers. So the person who first kind of wrote the music, and that's the music, the vocals, everything, gets protection in that. Then the recording itself gets protection. So you'll often see this in a band, for example. If you look on the back of a CD case, for example, you'll often see that it'll say who wrote the song. And with bands, there's often one or two members of the band, and then there's the performance. So the copyright, you generally have one copyright for the writers and then another copyright for the band. Again, in a band, normally they're going to transfer it to one place to get the protection, but so you have multiple layers in music. So what that means is you can't just go take music and make a copy of it and use it for your own purpose. And you don't have the right by buying music itself to then be able to go and put it on social media. You don't have the right for music that you bought to use it anywhere except for personal use. When you buy an MP3, a record, a CD, anything like that, you are buying the right to play that for your own personal use, and that's it. And so that's the limit. You can't just go do it. If you put music up on social media or anywhere else, you are infringing the copyrights. You are, stepping on the rights owned by the people who created the music, who wrote the music, and then also recorded the music. So you can't do that. And an important thing to understand is that's not just if you were to, like, let's say, just make a copy and put it up on my Twitter feed, for example, or my Facebook feed. If I just, put music up there. It would also apply if I were playing music, on my boombox while I'm recording this video. I would be infringing the rights of the person whose music that is, because I can't play it as background music. I can't use it for anything. Okay, so let me give you examples of how this has come up in the social media world. I came across a Twitter feed that eventually I think led me to a Facebook Live video of all things, and they were complaining about something that happened on YouTube. So it was the ultimate chain, I guess, of social media. These two social media mavens were complaining that YouTube had taken down their videos right as they were getting popular. And I say after they were popular, they had 100,000 views or something. And they were sure it was because of the political stance they were taking. But kind of when I listened to them talk, it was the two of them talking back and forth, I understood it had nothing to do with that. The issue was that, number one, there were two issues, and one of them had to do with music. What one of them was doing is they were playing music in the background while they were recording this video, and you can't do that. And so what had happened was whoever held the rights in that music, whether it was the artist or if it had been transferred to someone else, when the video became popular, heard about it, and then filed a request to take down the video. And that's called a DMCA takedown notice. There's a law, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, which provides copyright holders with the right to do that. You don't have to go and complain to the person who's infringing your right. You can complain to the service provider, and they will then take it down, because if they don't, so if YouTube hadn't responded and taken it down, YouTube could have been sued. But because they took actions, they then can't be sued. So that's how it can happen. And the most common example is that someone hears it. But as technology has advanced, it's become less incumbent upon copyright holders to actually do anything and to take action. So I read a blog post recently that talked about the fact that Facebook has gotten very good, its automated system of detecting if you have copyrighted material playing in the background of a Facebook Live. So, for example, if I were playing, a song by a popular artist, that was then here in this video, and you could hear it, Facebook's system would pick it up and would know that I'm playing it. And as a result, Facebook has started to suspend users who are doing that from being able to go live for up to 3 months. So that is a big issue when you think about it. You don't even have to have a complaint by the copyright holder anymore. What can happen is Facebook's system detects it, says, hey, ooh, this is wrong. They're not supposed to be doing that, and they will ban you from using it. So that gives you a sense that this is something that could come up and could come up pretty easily and pretty quickly in your system, or in your social media. So you have to be careful about it. So what does that mean? Number one, simple step. When you are recording a Facebook Live video, when you're recording a YouTube video, when you're recording any kind of video on a live streaming, make sure you don't have music playing in the background. Even if you're not doing it live, same thing. Don't play music in the background of a video, but it also means, for example, I can't just, play or put up a video of, playing someone's music and me dancing to it, for example. That generally actually isn't allowed because I'm infringing the copyright by using the music. So don't do that. Again, if you are in that space where that's what you really want to do, you need to figure out licenses and get some protection. But for a typical online entrepreneur, the issue isn't that you need it, it's just that you didn't realize you couldn't be doing it. So let's say, you go and record a Facebook Live, just in your house while you're playing some music without thinking about it, or in your office when you've got some background music on, and that will get you in trouble. So you can't do that. You have to be careful not to have that background music. And then the next step is, if you want to include music in a video that you are going to post somewhere on social media, what do? Well, what you need to do is you need to find music that you are allowed to use. That means you have to have a license to the copyright. Now, there are different kinds of licenses, and I've talked about this before in the context of podcasting, because it comes up there with intro and outro music. But there are kind of 3 places you can go, or 3 kinds of places you can go to get music. Number one, you could go and try to license a popular song. To do that, you're going to have to go find who holds the copyright. There are a lot of services that hold what are called publishing rights. I had a lot of friends in bands. One of them, for example, had a publishing company that got their music on Monday Night Football, of all things. I think the song was, got knocked down and I got up again, or, it wasn't that, but it was something like that, Chumbawamba song. And it was kind of funny. They played it after a sack of a quarterback, but that's a bit of a diversion. But the point is, you can go to one of those services. A publishing company will hold the rights normally, but you have to do the research, find out who it is, and buy them. And for a popular song, it's going to be expensive is the problem. For a less popular song, it might not be. But if you're talking top 10 hit, you're going to be talking in the thousands to get that license, almost for sure. So that's generally not going to be a good source. The other place you can go are various websites that have royalty-free music. And what royalty-free means is it's kind of a one-time fee. You pay them once, and then you can use it for whatever purpose. You don't have to pay them each time you use it, each time it's downloaded or anything like that. You get a license that is royalty-free. It just means the initial payment covers the license forever and all time. So that's a source. You can search and find those pretty easily. There's a lot of things. Again, just type royalty-free music, and you'll find some. There's a company I use for images called Storyblocks. They have a side called Audioblocks, which has that option. And the final place is you can get music made by friends, if you have friends who are musicians. And that is a third way, can be a really good way to do it, because you can get music that is really tailored to the specific purpose in your social media if you're creating a video. If you're going to do that, though, I would stress you make sure that your friends sign a written agreement giving you permission to do it. Again, it should be a royalty-free license or transfer of the music, one of the two. Maybe you pay them $1, maybe you don't, maybe you buy them a beer, whatever it is, but they should transfer the rights to you, because otherwise, they could come back and complain later, again, if you have a fight or whatever, and you don't want that to happen. So those are the 3 sources to get the music you want. So again, using music and social media can be valuable. You just need to make sure you're doing it right, because if you're not, what's going to happen is your post could be taken down. Your rights to use the services could be suspended even. So you need to avoid infringing people's copyrights and music in your social media. That's it for today. Hope you've enjoyed it. Again, if you're enjoying the content here, if you go to mistakes.youronlinegenius.com, I have a free cheat sheet that walks through kind of the 4 biggest problems. And these are things that kind of hit every area of social media, or not social media, of online entrepreneurship. And there are kind of constant issues that come up. And you can learn about that and learn about, how the mistakes are made, what they can mean and what you need to be doing instead. So again, that's mistakes.youronlinegenius.com. But that's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow with another lesson about social media and the law. Thanks.